Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. Hmm. Mm. Oh, some ruins here. Oh. Oh my God, it's unstable. Oh. Mm. Oh, wow. I never come down here. Oh, so pretty. It's beautiful. Oh. Mm. Good morning, birds. Good morning. Chirp, chirp, chirp. This tree and this tree here, these two are the ones right outside the bedroom window. There's all those birdies in there saying, "Good morning, world. Good morning." I hope you can see me. Mother Nature. Woo. Living out by the birds to this sound. This is does something for your soul. Feels good sometimes to like get that blast of sun right on you. Living out here makes you soulful. Just a tiny bit of life, access to life, just a little bit. Makes you alive. It reminds you of your aliveness. Your body is alive, spiritually, viscerally, primally alive. You have energy flowing through you, creative, sexual, sensual, active, ambitious energy moving through your body, propelling you to go forward in your life. Not caffeine, it's not drugs or alcohol, it's something inside of us. And God says to hate the world, but I think what God means is, biblically, I think what is being said is to don't put humanity before, don't put the ways of man when they, lean into, when left without spirituality, left without access to this kind of stuff, to the obvious grace of God and the creation of life, the majesty. When left without that, when you have no focus on that, when you're focused constantly on the things that are man-made, it spiritually deprives you. Your light, that light that we all have in us. We actually all have in our brains, in a part of our brains, we have a little light bulb. And then some people's, that little light is, it is more dim, and in some it's a lot brighter. It's more activated, it's more active. It's real. This is real stuff. So when we aren't connecting back to life, we're becoming spiritually thirsty, but we don't know how thirsty we are, if we don't have access to water. We learn to cope without the water. We learn to cope without certain nutrients, and we don't know what we're missing often. It's like when you find out that thing. It's like when you find out what to put in the Google search bar. You go, oh yeah, that's the topic I needed to be searching up. That's the more specific area of life. That's what I was hoping to find. I found the info. Now I have a more specific Google search criteria. I can find more access to more communities and more information. I can deepen my craft. I can meet more people who love what I do too. I'm just using examples here, but it's the same thing. You didn't even know you were missing that. You didn't even know you needed that information. That's God. When you get those little bites of information like that, little clues. One keyword can change your whole life. Do you ever think about that? I wonder, maybe put in the comments if you know what I'm talking about, and if this resonates, give it a thumbs up, and just put in the comments what word or what idea or topic or phrase did you find? How are you connecting with what I'm talking about here? What areas of life were you able to put in the Google search bar and expand on your knowledge? It's the same thing spiritually, and when it comes to our life force, our activated life force, this is a real thing. It's not some fantasy, oh, the force, the Star Wars force. No, I don't mean that. I mean the activated force that we all have. As of 2020, I started to see that force in certain people dimmed completely. And I never saw it this way before. I never saw people who had a completely empty light. They had no light. They chose to give it up. That's what I think. There were steps they took, actions they took throughout their life, or even the year prior to 2020, and they were given options, and they chose to drain their own well. They chose to do that. In spiritual law, I've kind of been thinking about things like spiritual law, like the spirit realm, which is a real thing. It's happening all around us always. some of us have more access to feeling this spiritual realm than others. It's a pleasure, it's a blessing to get to be able to feel and sense the spirit realm around you. And I only feel a teeny little bit of it, but it requires me to be an odd person. I need a lot of time, space, quiet time. I need to be able to connect to my life force a lot. And I have had to kind of compromise and sacrifice certain activities in life. I've had to more and more, I'm just becoming more and more closed off, and I'm becoming part of the earth again. I think it's swallowing me up. It's eating me up. That's okay. But, access to this spiritual place that's all around us, access to these different light energy, there's dull energy, and there's gray energy, and there's this light force that's in certain people or in certain things, of varying colors. It's a spectrum of light and gray matter and blackness. Nobody's completely dark, though. Nobody is. And but in 2020, I began to see a shift where even people who had a little bit of the life in them, I could tell, even if I had only just met them, I could tell they had this gray spiritual well inside of them. It was gray. It was gritty. It was dry. And it's like they had no access to any more of whatever that light is. Whatever I'm talking about, they had no more. And they were very unwell. They became unwell. I had one guy, I could see it in his eyes. He had these bright blue eyes, but he came up to me at the laundromat, and I was at the laundromat publicly before I got my washer and dryer, which has been so nice. He had a hatchet in his backpack, a hatchet, like a weapon. He was like a warrior or something. He looked apocalyptic, man. He wasn't homeless though. And he just locked eyes onto me. He wasn't even in the laundromat doing laundry. He was he kind of appeared out of nowhere, and he locked eyes on me. He came up to me, and I reckon he didn't have his mask on, but he got really close to me, and he started saying something really, really strange to me. This was months ago. This is when I knew something was odd. Something was shifting in our world, in people, in humanity. This is when I knew I had to go to Jesus. Christ, the Lord, the Most High God, to the Bible, because I was really resisting it. I was going down a different path, and he came up to me, and he was almost whispering. I couldn't make out the words he was saying, and we were in a laundromat, so you hear these big dryers, the fans. And I felt really like, why is he getting so close to me with COVID and everything? It's like he had no awareness of 2020, what had been going on. It's like socially, it's like he didn't even own a mask. They didn't even let you in the laundromat without a mask, but he just got right in. And he got really close to me, and he started talking. He started telling me something, and in my spirit, I started to feel like I was being drained. Started to feel afraid, almost. Started to feel like he was lost. He was a lost soul. And I don't get to even decide something like that. That's a big deal. I don't know if there's lost souls or not. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that happens in the spirit realm, we don't even have vocabulary words for. So I'm trying my best with my human English language to to tell you what I'm talking about here, or I don't know the vocabulary, at least. I'm sure the words probably do exist. I just don't know them. He started to ramble, and it sounded like he was speaking another language, but he had an English accent like mine. And he started begging me for something. He was begging me to go to take him to hell, basically. He was begging me to take him and introduce him to Satan, to Lucifer. He said, "It's you. You're the one." I said, "What are you talking about? Please stop saying that. Please stop saying that." And he said, "You're the one." And he said, "Please, I need," he's like, "I have money. Look, I have money." He had money in his backpack. I just was like, what the hell? He had money. He had like bank rolls. He said, I have money. I will give you this money. Just, you have to introduce me to him." And he said, "Please, I need help. I need you to take me to him." And he was not talking about the Lord. He was talking about Satan. He had a hatchet in his backpack. And he was like saying weird things about murder. He was frightening. I was frightened. And he was actually like shorter than me, smaller than me. I probably could have like kicked him over. But I said, it's crazy, this story, I know. But I started to feel like spiritually overcome. And I said, "Stop talking to me now. Stop it." And like, that's weird for me too, because I'm really very patient and kind with people. But I started screaming at him. I said, "Get away from me." I said, "Get the fuck away from me. Get away from me. Stop telling me these things." And I covered my ears. And I walked over to a washer machine and I like put my body on it. I covered my ears and I put my head away. I didn't want to look in his eyes anymore. And I said, "Stop talking to me. Stop telling me this. Please stop. Go away." I said, "You're frightening me, please." And the lady from the lady who worked there said, "Get away from her now." And he was like not open to hearing other human beings. He just wasn't alive. I'm telling you, there was like grayness in his aura, in his eyes, in his soul. He was scared though. And I couldn't help him. I didn't know what he was talking about. Why me? Why did he see something in me? That freaked me out so bad. I'm still freaked out about that. He saw I have given him access to Satan, to the devil, and to Lucifer, to demons. He came up to me like I was some gatekeeper demon. And I thought, oh my God, this is what my actions have created, this energy. I'm like a portal, man. I'm like a doorway, an access entry point or something. And I just knew I had to get right after that. I knew I had to start. It scared me so badly. Maybe one of my family members or something hired him to go put him up to it or something, put the money in his backpack and said, go talk to her about Satan and scare her straight, because she's doing weird witchy stuff and we don't like it. You know, I kind of like ditched my family eventually over my spiritual beliefs. I was doing rituals, magic. I was doing magic. I started doing, even when I told myself it was not dark, it was dark. It was dark magic. I wasn't doing spells on people. I have like a moral code I created, but I created that moral code in the spirit of darkness, like that kind of magic. And I'm telling you, there is magic that is bad, even if you think it isn't. Even if you think it's nature, it's, you know, this kind of paganism. Some of it is really dark. You don't know what you're playing with. You are sticking your hand in a hollow log in nature. You don't know what's inside that log. And you know, thinking you're hot shit because you're getting results from doing your spells, and you will get results from doing spells. Magic is real. And I was getting really good at it. I was getting really good at these things, these rituals and stuff. It was, oh my God. I never felt like that I was worshiping Satan. I didn't feel like I was in some weird spiritual war or battle, or I didn't think I was pissing Jesus off or God. I thought, man, God, why would God agree to let me do magic? Why wouldn't? But it had been just before that time that I met this guy who scared me at the laundromat. You know, in February, what I witnessed the night that my love, one of my loves of my life, did what he did to me that night. I knew that was like not my boyfriend. Maybe, you know, he was able to be influenced, but that was not, that was something else. And I knew that was the first time where in my soul I thought, I think I need to stop doing this magic. I think this is a sign. God just let me battle with a man who was twice my size, who could have killed me. God, nothing happens in life without God's approval. Nothing. You know, nothing happens. I think they say a leaf doesn't fall from a tree without God's say so. If you want to dabble in the spirit realm, you're going to get it. It's easy. It's easy to start. It's easy to have access to even just a tiny little bit of, you know, spiritual life. Opens up a lot, because our minds we have a really narrow view of life before we tap into our spirituality, before we wake it up. And even just a little bit of waking up your spirit, your life force, opens a lot up to you. Anyways, yeah, I was in the laundromat. I looked crazy probably, but he looked crazy. I looked like a victim almost. I was like pressed up against this washer, and I was like, stop, leave me alone, please leave me alone. And I dropped to the ground. And I was like covering myself. I didn't want to look at him. He was speaking, and the way he was speaking was frightening. And he was begging me, like I said, to help him meet the devil and to sell his soul. He wanted to sell his soul. He wanted to, he wanted to give the money to Satan for his soul. I thought, this is fucking nuts. What the hell? So, I didn't know anything about that. But, so, the lady that worked there said, get away from her now. Get away from her. And he wouldn't respond. And then some kind of big burly black dude kind of came over to him, and that kind of scared him off. He said, get away from her. What are you doing? And he kind of shooed him outside. And they said, if you come in here again, we're going to call the cops. So, you know, the kind of bystander hung around and sort of just watched from a distance. And the lady said, are you okay? What was that about? I said, I don't know. Oh, I was so shook up on the inside. I was trying to act like I wasn't afraid, but I was so shook up on the inside. I was shaking spiritually. I thought, oh frick, this is not good. That wasn't just a crazy person on the streets. Humanly, you know, in his human form, that was a crazy person on the streets. But I've seen enough already in my life. I've experienced enough spiritually. I recognize the energy. I've met that energy before. And that was it again, coming into my life. So, he didn't leave the laundromat. He stayed around. There's a couple entryways, and he was standing out there like this. It's like he wasn't even blinking. He was just staring at me, waiting for me to come out. And I would look, and oh my God. Finally, I had to run out to my car, and he started to follow me. And another guy that worked at the laundromat said, "Get the hell out of here, dude. I'm gonna kick your ass." So he like kind of, everybody around was seeing what was happening, and we were all like, what does he want? He has a hatchet in his backpack. This is scary. So finally someone called the police. And I don't know, the guy kind of ran off. I have no idea. I never saw him again. But, you know, that he just lingered outside that. I mean, he was locked on me. He was like locked on me. He was so sure that I had some kind of access to something dealing with spirituality. And I knew I am emitting some kind of force that is not good. And the power of grief, the portal, the black hole that grief can create when you lose someone close to you, like through death. Grief, you have to prepare yourself for grief. If you are not a strong person and you think, you know, you might lose somebody in your family, you better prepare yourself, your character, your life around you. Because if you are anything like close to me, then grief is dangerous. It's dangerous. And if your spirit, oh man, you guys, I'm telling you, that might have been 6 months ago this happened. And my life continued to keep getting crazier. And I finally went to Jesus. I said, "I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, I'm really sorry. I've done something bad and I need help. Please, please. I thank you so much for existing. I'm sorry. I've gone away from you. You're right. Everybody's right." And I said, if it's not right, just take it out of my life. Make me not desire it anymore. Just blind my vision to it. Make me not understand magic anymore. How to do it. I don't even want to know how to do it anymore. I said, if it's bad, I'll give it up. Even astrology, the astrology I was doing. If it's bad, I'm going to give it away for you, Christ. And this actually took months to come to Christ this way. Little by little, I was coming. It wasn't suddenly I was like, oh, the heavens have opened up to me. No, my relationship with Christ and God is still opening. But the simple things like this, some people would consider this is a part of my spiritual practice even when I was doing magic. So this is God made, this is beautiful stuff right here. But if you get too attached to it, the earth, everything of it, God has to come first. You gotta be willing to give away everything. And interestingly, I tell God, I pray, I say, if astrology is bad, let's take my vision away, take my ability to understand it away, or make me just not, let's make it so that I don't desire whatever's wrong for whatever is wrong. And a lot of certain astrology techniques I was using, I suddenly just kind of don't understand them anymore. I just sort of don't remember why I used them. And I thank God for that. That's on purpose. And but there is some astrology that I still do, and it's actually more helpful now to the people who actually are interested in it, and also for myself. And it has a lot to do with mythology and not worshiping other gods. Like, it has to do with history. It has to do with facts. You know, the color of Jupiter represents something. And that means, you know, this I think is great actually this is a creative mind making connections and having like a puzzle out of life, but God has to come first. God, the Lord, God, Jesus. That is so important. And I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm not talking about religion and all your religious rituals. Catholicism seems like witchcraft. You know, now that I have practiced witchcraft, I had my own practice. I had my own altar, my own rituals. I mean, I was like trying to write a book about it. So I created all it by myself. I didn't go on Google and research. I did all that alone in my own solitary practice That's pretty badass if you're a witch and you know that and you know me. And you can see the workup I had created, all my potions and my jars and my herbs, and like, I mean, this was my life, my daily life. It mattered. I honored the moons. I honored the sabbats. I honored the eclipses, especially. I honored big transits. I honored equinoxes. I honored all that. I associated them to different deities. I mean, it was getting really deep. So it got dark. It wasn't for me. Actually, it was for me, but Christ is for me. And I think you absolutely can re-give yourself to Christ as an adult in a new way. Like, not forced by your family. Who cares? They're not going with you when you die. You're not going with them when they die. They're going away. Wherever they're going, they're gonna go somewhere. You have no control over where they go, just as they have no control over where you go. But I promise you're going somewhere. And I promise Christ is coming. The Bible is real. Christ is gonna return. I'm still reading the Bible as an adult, as after my experiences. I never thought I would be giving a testimony. I just meant to show you guys the sun this morning, but I felt prompted. I'm not a religious person. I probably am a religious fanatic, actually, when I think about it. I just, but I gotta humble yourself. And if you're so certain God isn't real or Jesus Christ isn't real, then why don't you humor yourself and just ask. Just say, Jesus Christ, I invite you into my heart. You can be a jerk about it, because Christ knows you're a dummy. I mean, that's it's true. It's important. You have a spirit in you. You're eternal. You're a spirit soul. This is a borrowed flesh. This is temporary. This is temporary flesh. It's not going to go with you. And you are going to go somewhere, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to scare you, but what I saw in that man's eyes in that laundry room, what I saw happening, that was terrifying. I wasn't scared back to Christ. It was one of those moments that added up to me finally saying, that's not me. This is telling me something that's not for me. I mean, if that was for me, I'd be like, yeah, come on, let's go. Let's go meet our buddy Luce. Come on. Lucifer on a Sunday. The Lord's Day. Fuck the Lord, Oh, sorry. I'm just kidding. I just think, that would have compelled me more. I would have vibed with him. I would have been like, oh yeah, I like your gray matter, man. Oh, soulless. Nice. What you have to do to get there. Woo. So, good. Very good. So, yeah, the response I had from a spiritual level, from a physical level, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, I knew that is not a match for me. Whatever the hell just happened there, whatever happened to him, I don't even pray for him. I don't know. I don't even know. That is going to happen more and more to people. I'm so sad to say that, because I love being alive. I actually have a real attachment to life. Do you hear the birds? Do you hear how much I just never shut up about it? I love it. I'm in love with life. More than men, more than anything. I love life itself. I love being alive. Love that I got this opportunity. That's amazing. Think of all the odds. My soul is alive right now. Like, that's same as you. I don't take it for granted as much anymore. I really love it. Really love my life. I used to think I was very, very, very depressed and hated life. Like I thought I was perpetually unhappy. and that I was so scared of dying. I mean, it made me neurotic sometimes, way back in the day. It made me so scared. I had such bad anxiety and nightmares about it. But I realized I'm not afraid to die. I just love being alive. I love being alive, man. I'm so grateful I get to do this. Every day I wake up. Oh my God, yes. I'm so happy I got to wake up again. That's so cool. I'm not ready to go yet. And whenever I come close to dangerous situations, or when I'm in danger or feel that way, or when something scary happens, close call with a car accident or something, I go, oh my God, I'm just not ready yet. I wouldn't have been ready. I'm ready spiritually, which is great, but I'm not ready for it to all stop at once. I'm not ready to stop hearing this in this body, in this flesh. I'm not Geena Rose Davis of San Diego, mother to Remy, friend to many, daughter, sister, auntie. This girl who lives at this house, my neighbors know me. They can come to me for anything they need. I'll help them. I'm just trying to get rid of the word witch. I mean, my neighbors kind of grew accustomed to that character, I guess. It wasn't a character that I made up, though. That was some real shit I was doing. But I seem so nice. I seem so almost benevolent. I seem like a good-spirited person, but I was giving up control to something darker. And eventually that would have ate me. I would have become that dark spirit. And also the Bible says that to beware. I need to start learning the verses so I can drop some knowledge and facts. But the Bible does say, beware that Satan does come as an angel of light. So all these light workers, they call themselves light workers and stuff. That's weird. I think that's weird. I never liked that. I always thought that was kind of strange. All these empaths, light workers, I don't know. It feels off. I think they're on a similar path that I'm on, and like they'll reach it themselves. Everybody's soul evolution is different. All right, well, that's it. I just, in therapy yesterday, I was telling my therapist that I want to be a wife. I don't care if I have a marriage license. I don't give a shit about that. Jesus doesn't say that in the Bible. It's not a commandment. If you have sex, that's spiritually in God's eyes, and Jesus, then that's your spouse. And that's, I don't care if my spouse has other partners. I don't know. My values have just changed in that way. I don't care. I want the more the merrier. I want my partner to be completely absorbed in happiness and have all his needs met. That's wonderful. I can't meet all those needs. I'm kind of selfish, actually. I need a lot of space. I need to be able to make a video on a dime. I need to be able to go off in prayer. I mean, Jesus, spirituality, my life. I am in service to God, and I think I always have been, at least for the last few years. I mean, that has been my priority, and my actions and my life, the results of my life actually show that is the truth. And it comes before everything. And we're in a weird time. We're in some really weird times, you guys. And I want you to just hold that message and just ponder on it. I don't know if that's a scary time. Maybe these are great times. I know what I saw. I know what I've seen with the Spirit. I know that the Spirit is vulnerable at this time. And we're answering now to our choices. We're answering. And, the guy at the laundromat was almost like a pillar of stone. He was becoming a pillar of stone. What does that even mean? Someone who obsesses about their ex, they look back all the time. What's that story in the Bible? And she turns to stone because God tells them never to look back. They don't look back to that. God took care of all that stuff in the past. You're here now. You have a gateway to freedom, and you look back. That, to me, I always think about looking back on all your relationships that failed, and looking back at the family that hurt you, friends that hurt you, and you still are talking about it. You're still using that as an excuse to not move forward. You know me, I have a huge problem with that. So it does resonate a lot on my spirit. I mean, y'all know, if you know me, I mean, I never shut up about things like that. So, but it's time. I met a real life pillar of stone, and he knew he was turning into something. He knew he was turning into salt, frozen for eternity, maybe. Oh my God, can you imagine? Oh, so I'm not afraid of that happening to me. I feel so sad for the soul, that the life, all the souls. I don't know. Yeah, hell would be frozen as a pillar in your own past. You never got to recover, be redeemed of all the things you've done in the past. You know, my ex beat me up, and I have faith that he's going to overcome that. He's not going to be a pillar of stone as an abuser. He's going to overcome it. In the name of Jesus Christ, he's going to overcome it. And he's going to get over it. He's not going to be an abuser forever. That's going to die in him soon. I don't ever want him to be feeling ashamed in his past because of me or anybody else. I want him to move forward, stop looking back. I want him to stop sabotaging himself, because he's going to turn into a fucking pillar of stone. That's what happens. You know, it's time to move forward. All right, we get it. That relationship didn't work. All right, that person did this, that, you know, that person gave you trust issues. Just do it differently now. Just shut up. Just like, all right, we have all the tools we need. We know what we know. Yeah, we know, especially if you're my age. I'm 29. I know already. I know a little bit, at least, you know. I'm not that arrogant. I'm saying I'm old enough. I know what I need to be knowing right now. I know when some shit's bullshit inside of me, when my behavior is not right. I know when I'm lying to myself or someone else. And that's when you get held accountable. You spiritually mature a little bit, take accountability, and you still want to look back, your ass is going to turn to stone. That's the spiritual repercussions, because what God, I think, is saying is, if you can even mature a little bit emotionally, spiritually, get emotional intelligence, you have some world perspective, you have wisdom you could be sharing. You could be a 30-year-old man with the same amount of wisdom as I have for our age, and you are still living in your past. You're still living in shame from your past. You have no ability to forgive, obviously, if that's the case. And instead of sharing your wisdom and being an example, instead of being an elder and claiming your right to be an elder to these young adolescent boys and girls, you want to live like a statue. You want to be remembered for the player that you were, or the abuser you were, or the drunk, or you were a druggie back in the day and you can't seem to get over the drugs, even though your spirit is exhausted of it. You've outgrown it. But you can't let go of the title. You can't let go of the image people have of you. You gotta continue to be that way. And you will spend decades trying to fool yourself. And you'll realize when you snap the fuck out of it, you're gonna realize nobody cares. Everybody's life is going on still. Either way, people are gonna congratulate me on Facebook. It makes no difference. I can be a light. I can be an example. I could speak my truth and be a good good example. You know, try my best and move on, move forward, try something different. You know, if your relationships haven't worked out, why don't you crack open the Bible and see? Treat it like an oracle. Open it up. Open it up to like a random page. See what God has to tell you about your relationship style. What kind of leader do you want to be? What kind of man do you want to be? You want to get your needs met, or do you want to just keep playing games? You want to turn into a pillar of salt and become spiritually dry? Ugh. Dry out? Oh, please don't let that happen. Ever. You don't have to. It takes a little bit, just a little bit. Just say, Jesus, humor me. Okay, tell me. I mean, just saying that name, I get chills. I get activated. My body the hairs stand up in this context. My body is used to connecting to spirit this way, though. That takes some practice, but like, it's available to you. So yeah, I told my therapist, and I'll wrap up here. I told my therapist I want to be a wife. I want to be a loyal wife, and I want to be a wife until I'm dead. I want to die, you know, whether that's in a few years or an old lady, an old crone. I want to take care of somebody who gets old, who I watch age, and we're like, haha, you old fuck. So, excuse my language, I'm sorry. That's what I want. That's a joy and a privilege. I want to be a wife. I want stability, consistency, you know. That's such a joy. Like, I'm not lonely, but I'm content being alone, which is key. But like, you know, I want the presence of a male in my life, and because it is a pleasure when you get right within yourself. The right man is a joy. His presence, his leadership is a blessing, and he brings a lot, you know, especially when you're coming from that orientation. I know sounds a bit weird, but to modern women, but I want to be like an obedient wife, and I want to be valued for just simply being an obedient wife, being a good wife, you know, for loving my role as a wife. That's a lot. Just loving it, being able to be led. I want a spiritual husband. I want a husband who's connected to God, who's growing, who wants to, or who maybe isn't developed all the way yet, but just he will, you know, he has that promise, you know. That happens in like the 30s and 40-year-olds, I think. So God has assured me to be patient and to keep connecting, doing what I'm doing now, and not being a witch, not being a magic practitioner, because those don't get husbands. Those aren't obedient wives. You know, those are manipulative people who can't ask God for nothing. They got to create it all on their own, the way they think that everything should be. They got to manifest everything the way as far as their imagination can see. That's a small life. You're creating a tiny little life, because we don't know very much, you know, as humans. But you open up to God and say, God, humor me. I'm curious. Who's my next boyfriend, man? Who's my next friend? Who's the next person I can help with charity? I'm curious. Humor me. Boom. So, anyways, guys, you know, connect to life, connect to your body. It starts right there. These fucking demons, dude, they are real, man. I have seen them, and it's only gonna grow. It's only gonna get more. It's gonna intensify. Hey, you better know where you stand, what side of the line you stand on, because you're gonna have to choose one day. You're choosing today. It's not gonna be one black and white final choice. You choose in the things you do, and the things you say, and the way you are. And then one day, a line is going to be drawn in the sand. That's the truth. I said these things today with the Spirit. I didn't say it all on my own out of my brain. I was led to say this. So I hope that it resonates with some people, and I hope you have a great day. Okay? Enjoy. Bye. Oops.